Hi guys, JP from FSiPanel. On this short video, I will show you a new feature of FSiPanel 2020 Standard and Advanced Edition. You can say goodbye to the blue window that was coming on top of your simulator screen with the instructions. Right now, you will get all the instructions directly into the simulator in an in-game model that we have developed. So that means that FSiPanel will now be compatible with VR. So if you want to fly a training scenario, you will now be able to fly it in VR. You can fly several approaches in a row without removing your headset. You will have the options to basically restart the same approach directly from within the in-game model. And as well, all the flows are now into the new model. So I will show you exactly what you have to do to use that feature. And it will be on an open beta for a couple of days until everybody has tested, and then we can remove the old version. So let's have a quick look in the cockpit to see what has changed and what has to be done. So let's jump in our cockpit. Okay, here we are in the cockpit of the 777. Today I just loaded the PMDG 777. And if you look here, you will not see any difference. The difference is now on your top bar here. You can see that we have a new icon here. This is the FSiPanel in-game model. So make sure that you enable it. If it doesn't show right away, it's because you install probably FSiPanel with the MSFS running, and a new file installed in your community folder will not show until the next restart. So then make sure it's activated like this, and you will see FSiPanel messages, status connecting. That's it. That's all you need to do, and now we can start FSiPanel, and I will show you the option in the program. All right, so we are in FSiPanel. If you go to Setup, what you will see under Option is this new in-game panel and VR headset setups. In-game module enable, this is by default turned on, so this is a very good thing. You keep it on to try this new beta feature. If you turn it off, then you will have the blue window all the time with the instruction. So if you're running into problem with the new modes, just turn it off right there. VR mode, this is for people willing to fly in VR with the headset. So I will show that in the second part of this video. So the first part is basically flying approaches, the flows, and the second part will be how to fly scenarios and approaches in VR. So for now, I'm just going to deactivate the VR mode. Right now as well, for the cockpit flows, I have selected a button, Control-Shift F11, button 2 and Control-Shift F11 for the keyboard. So you can basically select a button and a keyboard combination. Let me show you that. If you delete the assignment, this is what you should have if you never use the flow. You can select button or keyboard. Let's say I want to start with the button. So I'll say, no, I want a button. Then I will select my controller. Again, I will look at the button for the flow. So you just hit your button several times. And you should see a light, as you can see now, that is flashing when I hit my button. So this is to identify which button is in fact pressed. So for me, it's clearly number 2. So I will choose 2 and it's a sign. Same thing for the key. So I'll do it again. And this time I will say, do you want to set a keyboard? Yes. And a good keyboard combination is Control-Shift F11. Done. So right now I have my flows set up done properly. Okay, so we are ready to try our first approach, and you will see what is the difference. So in the simulator right now, we have nothing. It looks exactly the same as before. And we are going to fly now a quick short final runway, let's say 3-1 right in Kennedy. So let's go in FSiPanel and program that. So we want to go with the wind on 3-1 right, headwind 4 knots, that's good. Want to make a long final, and I will click move aircraft. Probably the aircraft is overweight, so you will still get the message overweight. I will just reduce my weight here and click on update load. Then we go in the simulator, and now let's see what happened. You should get now all the message right there, as you can see. Preparing your aircraft standby, preparing the approach. So now everything will be available right there without the blue window, which means if you have your headset on, you will see this message as well. If you fly training scenario, this is as well where you can choose your options. So this is what we are going to use from now on if the beta phase is successful we will get rid of the window, the blue window that we had in the past. So as you can see now, FSiPanel is working and we are getting all the information. We will get the message that the aircraft is ready right there, and then you have control everything from there. I will fly the approach quickly and I will show you another feature, which is the after landing flow that you can call from there, or repeat the same approach. In case you don't want to go back into FSiPanel, you want to repeat landings and landings and landings, now you'll be able to do that directly from within the simulator. So once the aircraft is ready here, I will move forward for the landing, and then I will show you what you can do after you touch down in Kennedy. All right, so now we are reaching 2,300, so we are about to get the message that the aircraft is ready. Here we go, aircraft ready, hold your brake for 3 seconds. Let's do that, 1, 2, and 3. And I'm getting the last information. You have control, I will arm the approach, localizer, glide slope is armed, runways in front of us, and I'm going to fast forward the video and I show you for the landing. I see you for the landing, sorry. All right, here we are on short final, and we are just going to land here the aircraft and see what you can do now. So we just positioned the aircraft here at 8 miles final. We're about to do our first landing, and you will see that now you can basically repeat the same approach right from the simulator. 3 red, correcting. Checked. 2 and 2 on profile.
200. 100. 50, 40, 30, 20, 10, 5.
All right, here we go. Speed brake up, no reverses needed, and I'm using manual braking now. So to use the flows, the after landing flows, or to bring the menu, make sure your speed is below 30 knots ground speed. So you can see your ground speed here. So make sure you reduce your speed to below 30 knots. And on the 777, all the Boeings and MD-11, you have to retract 1 notch of flaps, or you can bring the menu as well using the Control-Shift F11 that we set, or the buttons that we have used. So let's use now the flaps. So I'm going to retract using the F6 key. If you have hardware, it might be that FSiPanel doesn't recognize the flaps. So make sure you use F6, or you can use your keyboard or joystick button. And by retracting the flaps 1 notch, as you can see now, I have a menu. Select your flow. We can do the after landing with APU on. Then you will be offered to do a single engine taxi in. You can do the after landing APU off, meaning you want to delay the APU starts because you have a long taxi. Or you can repeat the same training. So if I click now on repeat same training, without going out of the simulator, FSiPanel will bring us back exactly where we were for the first approach on 8 nautical miles final for runway 31 right in Kennedy. So basically now, if you have your headset on, then you can repeat approaches without having to remove anything. You can put yourself again on final, and this is valid for snapshot position, base, downwind, vectors. So basically anything you program with FSiPanel and you start flying with the first move aircraft, you can repeat it directly here from the menu. So that's the first thing. Now I'm going to position the aircraft on ground, and I will show you the flows feature. All right, so let's bring the aircraft on ground at the gate. All right, simulator is ready. We are in Kennedy, gate Bravo 47. I just loaded here the 777 and default cockpit. And as you can see, by default, my module is already enabled, so I don't need to click on it anymore. Sorry. So that's normally will remain on. Right, so now I will just launch a quick scenario here, and I'm going to show you what you can do with the flows. So let's just start the American Airlines 688 training scenario, which was inspired by Captain Jeff. Father Time. So very nice scenario flying from Kennedy to Miami. So let me start that. All right, here we are in FSiPanel. So what I will do right now is simply launch the training scenario. We should have the American Airlines 688 from JFK to Miami, start the training. And when I do that here, everything will be right now on the new in-game. So you can see downloading scenario ATC pack, please stand by. So everything will be right there and not anymore in the blue window. The ATC instructions as well. If you have to take decision, you will have to click right there to pick up your options. So you will see that when you fly your first training scenario where you have to pick a decision, take a decision, it will be right there telling you, please pick your options, divert, continue, and so on. So right now the cockpit is being programmed by FSiPanel for this flight. And then once it's ready, I will show you the flows. So right now you can see American Airlines 688 scenario starts now, contact delivery. The ATIS is available on COM2. So here you need to acknowledge that message to basically start the training scenario. All right, so now the training scenario has started. You hear the ding dong. This is telling you that it's the beginning. If you go to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you will have, as always,
runway
the ATIS.
31 left.
And
landing.
now what we want to do is the flows. So whenever you have your clearance, so for example, I can request my clearance here, and then I'll show you the flow. Delivery hello, this is American 688, stand Bravo 47, pick up IFR clearance to Miami, information Foxtrot. And you will see the instructions are coming
American
right there.
688, morning. You're cleared Miami, pacify the runway 31 left, Kennedy 5 departure, done a sea climb, Lama maintain 5,000 feet. Expect flight level 34010 minutes after departure. Squawk 4105 and your departure frequency 135.9.
All right, so do not click here to acknowledge instructions. You have to click on your push to talk button, okay? Do not click here, just read back. American Airlines 688, we are clear Miami as filed, Kennedy 5 departure, runway 31 left, Canarsie climb. Climb and maintain 5,000 feet, expect flight level 34010 minutes after departure, under squawk 4105, departure frequency 135.9, American 688. And now the window will disappear and you get the next instruction, which is probably ATC telling you
American
that it's all
688,
correct.
readback is correct. When ready for push and start, contact ramp control 129.2. Have a good day.
Roger, 29.2 when ready, bye-bye. Done. All right, so now basically we are ready for pushback. So now I'm going to show you the flows. Now the flows are filtered. So let me show you the manual that you will get for every aircraft that has flows. So I bring here the manuals for the PMDG 777, and you will see all the flows that are available. So we can see before start, after start, lineup, after takeoff, after landing, start the APU delayed, single engine taxiing, and shutdown. If you fly 737 or A320, you have also the single engine taxi out. So then you have an explanation of every flow. So if we go, for example, to before start, the condition for the flows to be accepted or to be shown is simply that engine 1 and 2 must be off. If that's the case, you will be offered a before start. For example, after start, you need to have engine 1 and 2 on, of course. Otherwise, why will you do an after start? Then the lineup, we need to have engine 1 and 2 on, and the flaps have to be more than up. That means we already taxied the plane. So basically, if one flow is not showing, make sure that you are meeting the condition. So let me show you the before start now. We go in the simulator. We are ready for the pushback. Let's say I'm going to use my button, and I'm getting the select your flow. And you can see that I have only before start flow. So if I click on before start flow, here we go. The flow is starting. You can see pressurizing right side hydraulic. Then we continue with the hydraulic center, waiting for pressurization. Then we are going to put the fuel pumps. Seatbelt sign will go on. And finally, the transponder. And then flow completed. So now you're ready to push. So I'll do a quick push and I'll show you the next flow just for the confidence of using the flows. So let me push back the aircraft and I show you that. Ramp hello, American 688 ready for push.
American 688, ramp control, good morning. Push and start approved. Nose to the right, and when ready for taxi, contact ground 121.9.
Ocean starter proof facing nose to the right, and 1219 for taxi. Bye-bye. American 688. Beautiful livery. All right, pushing back now for that scenario. So on the 777, we don't do single engine taxi out. The weight is just way too much. Will not be very good for the aircraft. We have, however, single engine taxi in. So you will find that as well in the flow. If you're looking for flows instructions, then there will be specific flows videos for every aircraft that supports the flows. You will see that in the YouTube channel. So right now I'm just going to show you the next flow, and then I will let you discover the flow by yourself, and we will move to the next topic of that video, which is flying in VR. All right, so number 2 has been started successfully. Let's start number 1. And then once 2 engines have been successfully started, as you remember from the flows manual, then the next flow that will be shown when we call our flow menu is the after start. So after start will basically pick the flaps that you have into your FMC. So right now we have computed a flaps 5 takeoff. So FSiPanel should set the flaps to 5. If you depart with another flap setting, then it should be set as well automatically. So let's say, for example, now we are going to depart with flaps 15. And I change my speed. Of course, I will check everything. This is just for the demonstration. So now my new flaps for departure is flaps 15.
Set parking brake.
Brake set.
Waiting your confirmation for a good engine start.
And I will tell her that we have a good engine start. Good. And now we are going to call the flows. So now, of course, you should wait until she disconnects and everything, but I will just show the flows. I don't want to lose your time here. So I'm using my button again. And as you can see, the flow that is shown right there is the after start flow. So if I click after start flow, I'm expecting the APU to be turned off. The engine anti-ice will be turned on in case you have icing conditions and temperature. If the temperature is basically below 10 degrees Celsius and you have visible moisture, then the engine anti-ice will be turned on. Now the flaps are moving. And after the flaps are set, then we are going to check the flight control. So the flight control page is already shown here for you. So you can just do your flight control check and then call the checklist and you're ready to go. So right now I will go for the flight control check. Full up, centered, full right, centered, full down, centered, full up, centered. Follow me with the rudder. Full left, centered, full right, centered. Now checklist, please. Before start, checklist was supposed to be done. I'm sorry about that. See, I just want to show you the flow, so I'm not doing the complete procedures. So before taxi, anti-ice, as required, recall is checked. We just have the TCAS off. Flight control check, ground equipment's clear. And off we go. Now you're good to taxi. The next flow that you will see is the lineup flow. So if I bring it right now, you can see the lineup flow where you have the option to use landing lights on. You are cleared for takeoff already, or you're just clear for lineup. So I will go for lineup flow, landing lights off, the second option right there. Then you have the packs off takeoff. So if your performance computation tells you that you need to depart with packs off, then you could just select that. So let's, for the example, show you, we want to line up flow, landing lights on, packs off. So now if we go there, you can see that we cycle the seatbelt sign to tell the cabin we are going to depart. We have the lights on, the packs will be turned off, and we have as well the transponder set to TA array. And basically that's it. You're ready to go. So if we go now to the overhead panel and we look into the pack, you can see that they have been turned off. Right. So that's the flows. And I show you the module. So now that's the end of the first part. So now if you're not flying in VR and you're free to go, thank you for watching. And please subscribe to the channel. And now if you stay with me, I'm just going to show you the procedure to fly using your VR headset. So let's put the aircraft back on the runway in Kennedy, and I will show you what has to be done. All right, so here we are in Kennedy again for the VR part of this video. So again, you will load your aircraft in 2D in a standard desktop, as always. And what is important in VR, when you're flying in VR, you see the model. When you switch to VR mode, might be disabled because this is two different systems, I find out. So sometimes, even though it will always remain on in standard 2D right just now, when you switch to VR, it might be turned off. So I had to code something special to make sure that it works, and I'm about to show you what you have to do in FSiPanel. So let me start FSiPanel, and I show you how to fly in VR. Okay, so here we are in FSiPanel, and as you can see on top, we are not in VR mode. It's the version 100 and no VR. So if you fly in VR, you can turn it on, turn it off. It's completely up to you. Don't forget to enable VR mode right there. So now VR mode is enabled. So FSiPanel knows that you're about to switch to your VR mode. So what you want to do, select your approach. Let's say we want to do the exact same thing. We want to go on 3-1 right, and we want to go on long final. So now I'm not going to switch to VR because you will not see in the video what's happening, but I will simulate that I'm changing to VR mode. So when you click now, move aircraft, the aircraft is overweight, okay, no problem. Change your weight, if not done already by the FMC, update load, and now you're waiting for the next instructions right there in the window. So here, FSiPanel is changing the weight on the aircraft. And now you are getting this message here, which is very important for you VR guys. Click OK, switch to VR within 15 seconds, and make sure the in-game model is open in MSFS. So basically now, you have to click OK. The simulator will become into view, or you can select it by yourself. And what is important is switch to your VR mode, and make sure that the model is open. As easy as that. And then you will get the next instruction. So let me show you that. I'm going to click OK. We are going in the sim, as you can see. What I have to do, switch to VR. So now imagine we are in VR. I will be on my headset. I have to make sure that this panel is open. If not, just click on it and wait. It's going to take 15 seconds maximum. And then what you will get on top is FSiPanel menu, move your aircraft. From there, you can keep your headset on and do the exact same thing as we did on the 2D demonstration. So basically, you can fly your approach, you can repeat the approach, you can do all the flows, so you are ready to keep your headset on. So if I click move aircraft from there, then FSiPanel will start positioning your aircraft. And you have your headset on, and then you could see all the instruction and use all the flows. So this is the ID. It's very straightforward, but unfortunately I had to do this 15 seconds delay due to the fact that sometimes going to VR will turn off the model. And then we have a communication issues. And as you have the headset on, you will not get any information. Just wait, and it will get frustration because FSiPanel is like waiting for some actions, but it is unable to tell you what to do. So unless I get another way to find out if you are in VR mode or not, which for the case, for now, it is impossible to know with the actual SDK, then unfortunately, we're going to have to do it this way. So it's the first approach. You need this 15 seconds, switch to VR, and then make sure the panel is open. And from now on, you can continue, land, vacate the runway, use the flows until you're parked, or repeat the same approach. Just go repeat approach, and you'll be back on final, and so on and so on and so on. For the training scenario, it's exactly the same things. You will start the scenario, and FSiPanel will tell you, again, switch to VR, click OK, switch to VR within 15 seconds, and make sure your panel is open. And from there, you will get the same instruction as before. So very straightforward. So this is an open beta phase, guy. I want to make sure that it's working for everybody in VR and that we do not run into too much trouble. And if that this is good, then we are going to remove definitely the blue window option in the setup. So if you have any question or any comment about this video and the new features, don't hesitate to drop your question in the section down below, or in the forum, or in the Discord. Thank you for watching. stay safe, and please subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys. I see you very soon for another training video. I have control. I'm about to land in Kennedy. See you. Bye-bye.